Welcome to the next entry for the Wind Speaks audio blog. Thanks so much for tuning in and listening to yet another entry. Over the last little while, I've been contemplating something that came up for me over the holidays. And it has to do with those that we connect with and those that we know and communicate with. And it reminded me of something that someone I used to work with would often say. And he would say, if we don't reveal ourselves, others will create their version of us. And it really anchors what I've been contemplating. And it really comes down to the fact that when we don't feel safe enough to share who we are, or to share the depth of who we are, or if the people around us simply aren't curious, if they're focused on themselves, then they might not have an accurate sense of who we really are. And I really experienced firsthand the depth of that and the significance of that, because I had this experience where I realized, wow, like, not only do I not know this person that I'm engaging with, but they really don't know me. And what came up for me was that I can try and share things if it feels aligned, but often it doesn't feel aligned to share who I am and share some of the things that I'm involved in, mainly because it doesn't feel to me like it'll be held. And on the other side, there's simply just not a curiosity. There's no wonder about what it is that I do, or what it is that I stand for, or even creating space for that. And I guess I just was really fascinated by that. Like, this is someone that I've known for a long time, and yet really we don't know each other, which was just this really interesting piece. And then remembering this idea, if we don't reveal ourselves. And anybody who knows me really does know that I'm quite open and I will share things. And I think that I do speak those things in these audio blogs and in other work that I do. It's not like I hold my life as being secret, but there's something about this energy of the safety around what it is that for me is like a precious part of myself. Is it going to be valued and held? And if it's not about necessarily keeping it from that person. It's like, doesn't feel aligned to share it or put it in their hands. And there's something there about appreciation and recognition, being seen. And I guess the other layer about this that adds complication is the fact that relationally we have so much history that keeps us from showing up in certain ways. And I guess like the one place that where I really notice this is the 12 years I've spent facilitating men's groups and noticing how men show up and how much they hold back. You can feel it. It's palpable. And a lot of that is because it simply hasn't been safe to show up authentically, to be vulnerable, to share our truth. Because often, and if I think of my own journey, I think of so many times in my life where I thought that I was showing up in a way that was aligned and something that I was excited about, only to be ridiculed or bullied or made fun of by other people around me. And I guess there was like an innocence and a naivety about the way that I moved through the world, but in hindsight, there's a beauty to that, and yet that beauty that I brought to the world back then as a child was not appreciated. And so that makes me think of other men and other human beings who have had that experience. We hide parts of ourselves. We don't disclose everything for fear of being seen as something other than how we believe we are. Or we have this belief of how we need to be in the world that is coming from that. And so there's just so many layers to our conditioning. And for me, this experience that I had over the holidays was just a really great reminder, because in my closer relationships, in my intimate relationships, it feels safe. It feels welcome to be able to reveal myself and to share the deeper aspects of what's important to me. And I notice that those things are held and reflected back as there's appreciation for those things that I share. And I guess I didn't, I don't know, it's just a good reminder of that's not the case for everybody. And we all live a different experience, and we're all learning and growing at our own pace. And in certain types of relationships, there's challenges that exist that make it hard to reveal ourselves. But the thing that really hit for me was the last part of that piece, which is that others will create their version of us. And that's the part that is a little concerning and actually quite interesting. It's like, who do you think that I am from your perspective? And how do you think I move through the world? And there's probably parts of that are accurate, and then there's other parts that are completely not correct because there's not been a way of verifying that. And, I think for me, this often shows up with people that I don't spend as much time with, and yet there's a connection that gets revisited. And so it's all these little snapshots in time, which is not an accurate reflection of all the time. And it makes me think about when we work somewhere full time and we spend 40 hours a week with people. In some ways, those people can know us better than other people in our lives, but they only know us to the extent to which they engage. And I think of a workplace that I worked in where we were all just so focused on doing what we did while we were at work, and there really wasn't a lot of personal engagement. There wasn't a lot of curiosity about each other. It just was not in the energy field, and ultimately that didn't feel like a very aligned place to work. It didn't feel very nurturing, and I tried to show up, I tried to engage, but it just wasn't really welcomed. And so, that's just that could be a whole other conversation about being in places that feel aligned versus being in places that don't feel aligned, and those choices that we make. So at the end of the day, I guess this is an invitation to ask yourself, are there situations where I hold back that I could reveal more about myself? Or are there situations where I do feel like I am being seen accurately and seeing the reflection, people are seeing the reflection of myself accurately, and cultivating more of that? And if you don't have that, see if you can find it places. I know that one of the practices that I've been involved in over the years that really creates a space for these kind of interactions is conscious relating groups or authentic relating groups. And there's all sorts of exercises that happen in dyads, triads, and in small groups where we communicate in a way that is all about revealing something or inviting something from the other person that we might not know and creating depth in our connection. So this is a way of communicating that is possible, and it's a way of communicating that I definitely value. And yet I had this experience over the holidays that was like, wow, like I never realized that there's so much between our connection in this situation that is invisible and that we don't know, and both ways because of the dynamic that's playing out. So anyway, I hope this is something interesting for you to contemplate. If this resonated for you, please feel free to reach out and share your thoughts wherever you can. You could reply to the email that this comes out in, and I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to sharing the next entry with you. Bye for now.